Okay, strap in, ladies and gents, we have an important message from the current GOP frontrunner concerning the controversial Project 2025. And I quote, "I know nothing about Project 2025. I have no idea who is behind it." He then goes on to say, "But I disagree with some of the things they're saying, and some of the things they're saying are absolutely ridiculous and abysmal." So, you disagree with something you know nothing about? How exactly does that work?
Your organization is named the Heritage Foundation because you understand that our glorious heritage is the foundation of everything we hope to achieve, which is why we need the help of the Heritage Foundation and everyone here tonight to get our tax cuts through the House, through the Senate.
I mean, let's just put aside the fact that the theocrats behind this abysmal plan, which I agree with you on, worked for you while you were in office. And the fact that your literal press secretary can be seen filming recruitment ads for the group behind Project 2025. I mean, how gullible does he think the mainstream media are? Does he think people will buy into this and just move on to more articles about Biden's ability to descend stairs? I mean, well, he's kind of got a point.
Time for us to play chess, not checkers. It's about making decisions that will affect us as human beings, our careers, our next generations to come. Did you know that it is now a crime to be homeless? Pay attention. It's not a secret. Look it up. They are attacking our most vulnerable citizens. The Project 2025 plan is not a game. Look it up.
Yes, the day after Independence Day, in which the former president went on another unhinged rant on Truth Social, he tried to distance himself from Project 2025, a massive proposed overhaul of the federal government drafted by longtime allies and former officials in his administration, days after the head of the think tank responsible for the program suggested there would be a, quote, second American Revolution.
And we're still coming to terms with the fallout from Monday's Supreme Court decision vastly expanding the powers of the president. Trump seizing on the decision, which bolsters and, even worse, legally protects his worst impulses, while his allies tout the authoritarian future that they want to build if Trump wins again. Tonight, one of them raising alarms for saying the quiet part out loud.
We are going to win. We're in the process of taking this country back. We are in the process of the Second American Revolution, which will remain bloodless if the left allows it to be.
That ominous warning was from Kevin Roberts, the president of the Heritage Foundation, the right-wing think tank that created Project 2025, a 900-page extremist blueprint for a possible second Trump term. The outline includes detailed plans to expand presidential powers even more, including restructuring the Department of Justice, purging federal government employees and replacing them with tens of thousands of Trump loyalists, dismantling the Department of Education, and banning abortion medication. The Heritage Foundation leader has not been shy about promoting this plan.
President Trump is going to make decisions about policy in his administration if he wins. Project 2025 is something that's going to transcend the next 4 years, the next 10 years. We're going to fire someone and the number needs to be more than 50,000. Abortion is not healthcare. We need to have the biggest mass deportation system ever in the history of America.
Now, if you need the Cliff Notes version as to what this project entails, well, here's a clip from our reporting of John Oliver's fantastic breakdown of the matter. If there weren't already alarm bells ringing to the tune of a Manhattan Street at 2 a.m, this segment by John Oliver has to pierce through the noise, and it is worth every bit of your attention.
Let's talk about Trump's second term. Who's making those plans for him, what they entail, and how much damage they could do. And the main insight we have into all of this comes from something called Project 2025.
The 2025 Presidential Transition Project
Brings together conservative organizations
to ensure the policy and personnel are in place.
On January 20th, 2025.
Using 4 pillars,
We are laying the foundation
for the next president
to end Washington's bureaucracy and restore American prosperity.
More than 100 conservative organizations have come together to work on this, and they're all there. You've got the Heritage Foundation, Liberty University, the NRA, Turning Point USA, Rodeo Clowns for Trump, the Center for Ruining Thanksgiving, the Marriages Between a Man and His Property Institute.
Yes, Project 2025 is not a joke, and the negative response from many Americans across the country is undoubtedly why Donald Trump is now trying to backtrack. The project outlines a dramatic expansion of presidential power, which, when you consider the recent SCOTUS immunity decision, is even more terrifying. The architects behind the crystal fascist agenda have discussed firing upwards of 50,000 government employees and replacing them with people whose only qualification is an allegiance to Trump.
If you've been closely watching this show and this network, and even on social media, you've probably heard of Project 2025, sometimes also called the Presidential Transition Project. It's a 900-page policy document put together by a bunch of conservative interest groups as a guide for how a second Trump administration can weaponize the federal government in pursuit of a, frankly, frighteningly authoritarian vision. It's also a wish list of a bunch of fringe far-right policy proposals that I think many voters would be really horrified to learn about. It seems like a lot of people are starting to pick up on the project and its proposals thanks to warnings like this one from host Taraji B. Henson at this week's BET Awards.
Pay attention. It's not a secret. Look it up. They are attacking our most vulnerable citizens. The Project 2025 plan is not a game. Look it up.
According to some reports, the project actually began trending on Google immediately after those comments. But even with the new influx of attention, I still think the details of Project 2025 are undercovered relative to how absolutely unhinged they are, even by the standards of today's Republican Party. So, first and foremost, there is this nakedly authoritarian plotting, like the plan to weaponize the Department of Justice as a tool directly under the control of Donald Trump. Quoting from the document itself, the DOJ falls under the direct supervision and control of the President of the United States as a component of the executive branch. Litigation decisions must be made consistent with the President's agenda. By the way, Justice John Roberts just endorsed that in the 6-3 immunity decision, so they've got carte blanche on that. What it means is that Donald Trump directs the Department of Justice. There is no independence. There's no firewall. He tells them what to do, who to prosecute, who to defend, and the like. And I think this portion of Project 2025, the authoritarian plots to purge the civil service, replace it all with MAGA loyalists, like deep down into the government, is getting most of the attention, and for good reason. But there's so much more to Project 2025, including, again, a whole bunch of fringe, hard-right culture war stuff.
Axios has new reporting on what they describe as Trump's imperial presidency in waiting, writing this, quote, Trump promises an unabashedly imperial presidency, one that would turn the Justice Department against critics, deport millions of people in the U.S. illegally, slap 10% tariffs on thousands of products, fire perhaps tens of thousands of government staff deemed insufficiently loyal. He'd stretch the powers of the presidency in ways not seen in our lifetime. He says this consistently and clearly, so it is not conjecture. A few other headlines from Project 2025's 900-page plus mandate, putting Christianity at the center of American life and government. Criminalizing the mailing of abortion medication, the most common form of abortion care, criminalizing sending that through the mail. Taking the word abortion out of all laws, policies, and regulations, as well as terms relating to gender and sexual identity, removing protections for the environment, denying climate change, eliminating the Department of Education.
Meaning if, say, Trump decides to draw an outline on a map suggesting a path for a future hurricane to save himself from embarrassment, they just have to go along with it. Whereas at Biden HQ, they are trying to highlight how blatantly obvious it is that Trump fully endorses Project 2025. And they're working to draw more attention to the agenda, particularly as Biden tries to rally more support after what, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, was a disastrous debate last week. But when you put his performance side by side with what his opponent is planning to do, well, give me a stutter any day over the full-throated fascist.
The most important, we're going to save our democracy. Now, you probably heard we had a little debate last week. Can't say it was my best performance. We love it, Joe. But ever since then, there's been a lot of speculation. What's Joe going to do? Is he going to stay in the race? Is he going to drop out? What's he going to do? Well, here's my answer. I am running and going to win again. Trump is a convicted felon, found guilty, 34 felonies. Lock him up. Trying to hide hush money payments to a porn star. Another jury found Trump sexually assaulted a woman in a public place, and he's been fined $90 million for defaming her. $90 million. They've only been bankrupt about 20 times, but I don't know. This so-called great businessman owes over $400 million in fines after being convicted in New York State of business fraud. Already convicted. Fined $400 million. Donald Trump isn't just a convicted criminal. He's a one-man crime wave.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Meidas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.